Hey, if you're applying for PhD positions, these are 5 mistakes you should avoid when writing your research proposal. We're going to go through them together. Stay tuned. Let's do this. Rule number 1, your research proposal topic has to fit within the scope of the department or the university you're applying to. Sometimes we have our own topics, we have our own research interest, and we want to import it to a particular university without actually doing our research to find out if there are enough faculty members there to supervise us. I've made that mistake before. I applied for a PhD position. I was so much interested in a particular topic, and I wanted to use qualitative comparative analysis, right, as one of my methods, but there was no faculty member in that university that was an expert in qualitative comparative analysis, and I didn't get the PhD position. That's the first mistake you should avoid. Mistake number 2 is a lack of clarity in research questions or hypotheses. Sometimes we don't really think through our research questions. You have to think through your research question. Ask yourself, how many years of research would take me to analyze this? Is it going to take more than 3-4 years? Then you should be careful to go for a research question that takes less time to explore. Is there a research question that's easy to answer with just descriptive methods? Is it just going to take you like 2 months to do? Then you don't need a PhD position, because you're going to do it. You can do it anyway without a PhD offer. So you want to pick a research topic that takes about 2 or 3 years to finish, and you want to put forward a hypothesis that shows some clarity of thought, that shows some theoretical understanding that you have going into this research. You don't have to underplay this. The third thing that you should pay attention to is literature review. Now, sometimes we think we know how to write literature reviews, but there are a lot of mistakes in how people write literature reviews for research proposals. You want to show reviewers that you have an understanding of the literature that you want to build upon, but you are not using recent studies. Recent studies in literature reviews is very, very, very important. You are citing research from 2002, 1996, 2010. It might seem recent enough, but what about the last 5 years, the last 10 years? What have people done about this topic? Without adding recent studies, you make it look as if probably someone has done what you are interested in. And remember, reviewers don't have time to do that background checks, and you might not get in. The fourth thing you have to pay attention to is your methodology. Methodology is how you're going to answer your research question. It is very, very, very important. You have to put some thought into it. So again, you want to make sure that there are faculty members who have interest and expertise in the research methods you want to use. If there is no faculty member in that university who has that expertise in the methods you want to use, you will not get in. That's as simple as that. You want to do that. The second thing you want to do is you have to really think about these methods and ask yourself, do these methods answer the question I want to put forward? And what are the limitations of using one method over the other? It is very, very important that you do this and you acknowledge it in your methodology section. The next thing you want to pay attention to is a timeline and budget. In some research proposals, especially research proposals in Europe, which I have encountered several of, you are usually asked to give the timeline and a budget for your research. But timeline is usually the case and not a budget. Whichever case it is, you want to give a realistic timeline. You want to give a realistic timeline for your literature review, realistic timeline for data collection, and all the processes that you're going to involve in doing your research. Remember that your research position usually comes with some teaching responsibilities, some administrative responsibilities as well. So you want to show that you have thought through this and you are giving realistic timelines to finish the project on time. You don't want to communicate that this project might take longer than expected. Remember, reviewers don't want to hire a PhD student who is going to take more time to graduate than necessary, and they will have to go and find some funds elsewhere for you. So if your research proposal is not communicating timelines that are concise, specific, and realistic enough, you might not get in. So pay attention to these 5 things, and it's really going to put you ahead of the other people you're probably competing with for your PhD position. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. See you next time.